Why, hi there, traveler. Say, you look like you've been traveling for quite some time. Why don't you sit back and I'll tell you a story. You all comfortable now? Good. Now, there's a lot of stories about the Old West. Stories of heroes rushing in to save an entire town from a group of bandits. But here's one with an unlikely hero. One you might not expect to hear in this Old West. Now, the story starts a long, long time ago. Long before time had a name. There lived a caveman. You heard me, a caveman. Now this caveman, well, he was the hero of his tribe. He protected them from all sorts of critters and other cavemen. He was also the best hunter the tribe ever had. He could hunt a mammoth all by himself. Yes sirree, he had it made. Well, that wasn't until one fateful day. You see, the caveman was hunting a mammoth. This mammoth was stubborn and hard to kill. Now, before the caveman could throw his spear, delivering the final blow to this mammoth, the ground around him collapsed, leading him into a cave filled with water. Now, I don't know if you know, but at the time, everything was much, much colder. So as soon as that water touched air, it froze solid, leaving the caveman frozen in time for billions of years. Or was it millions? I don't remember. Anyway, the caveman remained frozen for quite some time, all the way up until the Old West. Now you see, nearby where the caveman was frozen was a small town. And in this town, there was a boy that was known to be wandering off. Now, he knew better not to wander off, but he kept doing it anyway. Eventually, he discovered the cave the caveman was frozen in. And, naturally, he told the townsfolk what he found. Now, the nice townsfolk brought back the caveman and defrosted him. And at first, he didn't take to being in the future too well. I mean, everything was new and confusing for him. But eventually, he did settle in. Well, as settled as it can be for a caveman waking up in the Old West. But he managed. He learned how to do things like ride a horse and whatnot. Heck, he even taught the townsfolk how to hunt and fish from methods that he learned in his time. Things were going well for quite some time until some bandits showed up. You see, there were a group of bandits that once a year wanted, protection money from that town. And if they didn't get that protection money, well, let's just say they were going to use the townsfolk for target practice. Now, unfortunately, that year the town didn't have protection money. You see, they've hit hard times that year. Fortunately, they had someone who could protect them, the caveman. And the caveman was going to protect his new tribe. The tribe being the town I mentioned, if you didn't get that point. Anyway, the bandits showed up in the town demanding their money. They went looking around, trying to shake down people for every dollar or coin they had. Then suddenly, one of the bandits disappeared. The bandits tried to find where their friend went, but they couldn't find him. And then slowly, the caveman began picking them off one by one before they knew it hit him. Eventually, the bandits were taken out one by one, until only their leader was remaining. Now, the thing you have to know about the Old West is that one way to survive is by having a quick hand, a quick draw. A hand so fast that as soon as you shoot a bullet, no one even knew you pick up the gun. And boy do I tell you, this caveman had a talent. You see, this caveman was faster than they could draw their gun. Before their leader could even pick up his gun, the caveman drove a spear into his chest. The town was finally free of their tyranny. They were so happy about their new friend that they made him the sheriff. That's right, the caveman became the sheriff. Can you believe that? I sooner believe someone said they saw a jackalope. And from that day on, the caveman became their protector, protecting them from all kinds of evils that the West holds. But all this attention got to the ears of Snake Eye Willie. Snake Eye Willie was the meanest bandit in, well, anywhere in the Old West. They call him that because he had a birth defect in his eyes, making them look snake-like. And boy howdy, he had the quickest draw in the Old West. He went to that small little town and challenged the caveman to a draw. Now, the thing you have to know about the caveman was that even though he adapted to his new environment, he didn't know how to use a gun. So, he was going to have to use his trusty spear. On the day of Snake Eye Willie's challenge, the two stood across from each other in the center of town, glaring at each other. It was eerily silent that day. The only sound you can hear was the tumbleweeds. As the clock soon struck high noon. Once the clock hit high noon, all that was heard was the fling of a spear and the bang of a revolver. People watched in anticipation, wondering who would make it out of this alive. It was dead silent for what felt like minutes. But soon, Snake Eye Willie, with a spear dug deep into his chest, fell, and the caveman stood standing. Remember what I said earlier about one of the best skills you can have was a quick draw? Well, the caveman was faster. Now you're probably wondering, whatever happened to the caveman after he defeated Snake Eye Willie? Well, unfortunately, we don't know. Legend has it he either stayed in the town protecting them from even more evils, or he went into the forest and protect other small towns. Unfortunately, no one knows the end of that tale. But I'm glad you listened to it. Anyway, see you next time, and safe travels.